Hello YouTube, welcome to Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. I'm Ronnie Humphrey. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button. Well, it is 7:14 in the morning. We've got a lot to do today. Get the motor out, work on the fuel system, look at our new transmission we picked up. A lot to do, so ride along with us. Let's see what we get done. Well, our first item of business is to get the motor back out of the chassis for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we want to clean up all the cross members and all. We're ready to weld it. My son's going to come over and weld that up for me tonight. So we're going to get that all ready to go and cleaned up. Then we need to get transmission off, because you saw in our last episode that the transmission was only a 2-speed. So we got to find, matter of fact, I've already found a donor part, so we're going to put the first and second back in this transmission, and we'll get it back roadworthy and we'll just sell it. But we got to get the clutch and all hooked up. We got a box of parts that are on the floor that's got a lot of power steering stuff. So we got a lot to do dressed up on the motor. I will show you the new transmission we got. It's complete with bell housing. It's been sitting in a buddy of mine's storage shed. Got dust on it, but there you go, a Muncie with the aluminum bell house. That's what we wanted. Got to clean everything up. Even got a motor mount on it, or transmission mount. Got shifter. We got the main thing we needed. This right here. This is hard to come by, these plates, shifter plates. So we got the shifter plate. So we're in good shape. We just got to get this cleaned up. We're going to pull the cover off and check it out as well. Then we're also going to fool the fuel system today. This is the fuel cell that came with the truck. It says it was manufacturer expires in 2001, so we're not going to run out. Those things leak anyway. So I'm going to show you a really cool fuel cell that'll work on these projects. It's in there now. We'll show that back to you in a minute. I've used these things over and over, and they are perfect if you're messing with these old cup cars and cup trucks. So there we go. Let's see if we can get this motor yanked out, and we will start with that. All right, the first item of business is to get our cutoff wheel and remove the rest of those slotted motor mounts that was original in the truck. I thought we'd be able to leave them in there, but the headers, unfortunately, were just barely hitting about 1/4 inch, so we're just going to take them all out. And plus, I want to cut that off up there as well, because we had to remove the one over here on the driver's side. So let's see if we can get a new wheel on our cutoff wheel and go ahead and take care of that. Well, we got the back piece cut off, and I'm going to take out this A-frame bolt so I can get closer to the frame. It's not going to be all the way to the frame, but get a little bit closer, we'll get this bolt out. Okay, there's one side. I'm going to have to dress some of that up, but go over and start on the other side. Well, I was dreading that. I'm glad that is over with. You can see how thick this piece was on the passenger side. It's a lot of cutting on that cutoff wheel. If you use that 6-inch wheel on that small grinder, be very careful. That thing will hurt you. It will cut like a son of a gun, but it will hurt you if you're not careful with it. So I actually used the torch on the driver's side on that upper front plate. It was just too tight, get the grinder in there. So we'll go in there and dress all that up. But we're going to see what else we get into. I got to run a couple errands real quick, so we'll come back and get back on this thing here in a few minutes. That was a nasty job. I think I went through 3 wheels, but we got that front motor plate mount cut off as close as we could, and it's already painted. And I got the back side of that one cut, and that's all ready to be welded up. This was a bear over here. I had to take the suspension off of this side to get in there and get it, but that's touched up paint now. So hopefully my son's supposed to come over tonight, weld everything up. I've just gotten older. It's just hard for me to see as good on something that's important. So anything that's important, I let him weld it. So we're going to go ahead now and let you look at this fuel system and see what you think about that. As I was saying earlier, this truck came with this fuel cell, but we're not going to run a true fuel cell. I've actually got a can in there in my parts room that we could put in here, but I was wrong on the date earlier. This thing actually expires on 2020, so it would probably be okay, but these things eventually all leak. Every one of them leak, and just don't, for just a play car, show car, track day car, you don't need this fuel cell, the full ATL. So what do? The problem is that size right there, that hole. You got to fill in that hole. Well, here is what I've done for many different projects. This is an RJS fuel cell. Yes, it's just a plastic tank. I've got a can in there, but where these vehicles are built, obviously you got a steel can inside of the steel can here. So for your just normal racing, I just use this as my protection, my steel can, and I put this plastic cell in there. These things used to be only around about $110. They have gone up so much due to inflation right now. This thing was $250, but I want to show you why I use this one. The main problem with finding the right fuel tank to go in any vehicle, any NASCAR, because this has been the same size forever, but you can't ever find anything without having to put a bunch of spacers in there. So let me show you. This is a trick. Thing fits perfect, and there is nothing better than that right there, and it works perfect. You always put a little piece of plywood on each side of it, and to center it up and keep it from moving back and forth. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do to this now to make it even more realistic. This will give you a little better idea, but all I've done in the past is just slide it over to one side. You can put a piece of 3/8 plywood in there, and that keeps that thing tight. Now, we've got our cage. This needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. This is the only problem with using this cell. I've run this every time. All of these fuel cell cages have been built the same for years, same measurements, and every time they land on top of my rollover valve vent and also on the pickup line. So you have to modify this, but it's no problem. I just simply move that piece of square tubing forward a little bit, and that's all you have to do. So we're going to modify that to get room for our pickups, and then what we're also going to do to make it look more authentic, we're going to take a piece of red aluminum, and it's going to be just the right size of that, and we're going to cut our holes out to where it fits around that. And when you look in here, it's going to look like a nice red fuel cell, but it's going to be a plastic cell up under it. So once we get the red aluminum there, it's going to be really nice. So let's start off and let's get this cage here fixed, and we'll go from there. The good thing about using thin cutoff wheel, you can actually cut this and move it back and just use the same piece of metal. There you go. All right, we're just going to set this in this far, 11 5/8 on both sides. All right, we got everything welded up. I came back and capped on both ends here. So now we can see if it'll fit, which I know it will, but we'll put it in there and let you see. Okay, there you go. I put a little paint on it just so it wouldn't rust. I've got to get with my local paint company. They can match this interior paint, but this cage was not the same as the rest of the truck, so we got to paint this whole thing anyway. But that's what it looks like. Mike could have moved that bar over just maybe another 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch, but that's fine. We still get our fittings on back here, and we still get the cap off. So now I'm going to show you what our plan is on this aluminum. So we'll take a piece of red aluminum. We're gonna make it just a hair larger than this sail. So this is 17.5, so we'll go 17.75, and we'll go 33.25. So 17.75 and 33.25. Let's get that cut out first out of a piece of red and see how that looks. Gonna make sure we got this just right, and that's square. So that should be our top for our fuel cell, our fake top. All right, this will be real easy on these, on the vent and on the pickup. We'll just center this aluminum up here on top. Take a square, framing square. We're gonna make this a little bit bigger, that's fine. Just run us 2 wild lines up. Do the same thing on this one. There ain't nobody gonna be looking inside the thing. Now, just simply figure out how far from the edge we gotta go. Basically 2 3/4 to the center. I'm gonna go 2 7/8 just to be safe. Okay, I'll go ahead and get these drilled out, and then we'll show you how we'll just repeat the same process for the big one. So let's get these drilled out. While I was laying out, so I might as well go ahead and put the cap in now, do it all. So just simply measured, centered it up. And what we'll do, since this is a larger diameter, we'll use this to trace it by. Then that should give us plenty of room around the actual hole. So I've got my center marks here. Now, if this doesn't work, I got one more piece of red, so we'll see. Get our pilot hole first. No, you're saying, don't drill on the fuel cell, don't drill on the fuel cell. Okay, I'm gonna get these drilled out. I won't bore you with all the drilling, and we will show it to you when it's done. Okay, I took some tin snips and cut the center out. This here, we gotta come back, we gotta straighten all this up with a file. Have not tried this yet. Voila. Perfect. It's amazing what you can do with a tape measure and a straight edge. So, there we go. So we will get this cleaned up on the back side, and we'll put it all in there and let you see how it's supposed to look. Now, isn't that cool? It looks like a red fuel cell in there. And that's just a real neat little way to buy that fuel cell. It's way cheaper. And if you're doing track day or something, you might want a regular cell with some foam in it, a metal can. But this is just for, if you got a show car or just something you go in parades with, or just putting around the track, that's a really neat way to do it. Well, we got a little bit done today. Hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit of grunt work and a little bit boring stuff, but stuff that had to be done. But we're starting to make progress. So appreciate you guys watching as always. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button. We'll see you next time on Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. God bless you. You take care.